There were three major events this week that happened that showed off Donald Trump's mental decay and, of course, likely dementia. It began on Sunday when the world got to see the letter that he sent to the Norwegian Prime Minister. Then, on Tuesday, the 1-year anniversary of him coming back into office, he hijacks the press conference, starts rambling like a lunatic, showing picture books and then throwing them on the floor, speaking for almost an hour and a half nonsensically the entire time. Then on Wednesday, the full-blown look at my dementia speech that he gave at Davos. So, three major events in 4 days showing that Donald Trump's mental state is in the garbage, to the point where CNN medical expert and Dick Cheney's former cardiologist, a man by the name of Dr. Jonathan Reiner, said that we actually need congressional inquiries into Trump's mental fitness, which I completely agree with. But it got worse, because it's not just these outside observers warning us that Donald Trump's mental stability is in the toilet. People that used to work for him, people that have known him, some of them for decades, came out this week and said that the cognitive decline we are seeing is nothing short of stunning. And these are people who knew him before it was like this. So for them to see this visible decline that we can all see, and finally decide, I got to ring this alarm bell, that tells you something. The first, of course, was former White House lawyer Ty Cobb, who, again, had known Trump for decades. But Cobb said this on Ari Melber's show on MS Now this week. He doesn't think there's now anybody outside of the United States who believes that Trump is sane. I think there's been a significant decline, he said. He's always been driven by narcissism, but I think the dementia and the cognitive decline are palpable, as do many experts, including many physicians. Now, Melber then had to remind people that Trump hasn't been diagnosed with dementia, which, yes, he hasn't been diagnosed with it that we know of. All right, let's always put that caveat onto the caveat, because we don't know what he's been diagnosed with. But as far as we know, he has not been diagnosed with it. So, sorry, Ari, to have to put a caveat to your caveat, but we don't know what he's been diagnosed with in terms of anything, really, because let's also not forget, they're covering up the truth about his physical health, not just his mental health. But then you had Stephanie Grisham, former White House communications director under Donald Trump, who had this to say this week. This presser, talking about the Tuesday event, is bizarre even for him. It's all the usual rambling, off-topic tales, half-truths, lies, I've fixed everything, no one has ever seen anything like it stuff. But it's low energy and feels like he's mentally slipping. That was a little too kind. Feels like he's mentally slipping. There's no more slipping, okay? He already went down the slide. He's in the dementia pool at the bottom with nowhere else to go. That's what we're dealing with. But I do love and appreciate when the people who knew him before this was taking place are the ones out there telling us, this isn't the guy I knew. This isn't the guy I worked with. This isn't the guy I dealt with. This isn't the friend I knew. And we are starting to see more and more of it. And the more these people come out and talk about it publicly, the more it keeps it out there, because this is no longer something we can ignore. I mentioned earlier this week in a live stream that I think when Donald Trump eventually passes and we get the medical report, that medical report, unless it's altered by this administration, if it happens during this time, is going to prove that he had been suffering from very severe neurological diseases for quite some time. And at that point, so very many people are going to be like, I told you so. And others, believe it or not, are going to say, Well, I never saw that coming. And I think we all know which groups are going to be saying which things. Thanks for watching, and if you are not already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and do not forget to like and comment and share widely among your friends.